This podcast contains an English accent that most of our Irish listeners will find offensive. Also, there may be some colourful language that you're going to find less offensive. Now, over to Ryan and Leon. Enjoy the podcast.
You wrote a poem for a book, right? And I love this poem. Do you mind if I read it? It's called An Ode to Happiness. And he really wrote this. I draw a hot sorrow bath in my despair room with a misery candle burning. I wash my hair with regret shampoo after cleaning myself with pain soap. I dry myself with gorgeous white, 100%, and it will never change towel. Dude,
keep going.
If you're
Finish
alone,
the poem.
You don't put on silk.
If you're going to read the poem, read the poem,
and
man.
I go to sleep. Yeah, right in the middle of the poem.
You're just like...
When the hue has gone blue...
And you can't quite grin and bear it. Let this word picture remind you it can always be worse.
And the worst would be reading the poem?
Keanu, you can't win them all.
You can't win them all when you've got a harsh critic like Zach Galifianakis there.
We've all been there.
Roasted.
Yeah. Just, look, it happened to me the other day.
Someone roasted a poem on you?
Well, they read it wrong. So, bless her, Ramona at work. She's the first person you see when you go into my office. Bless her. And she's so nice. She's so sound. Oh, Ryan, yeah, grand, yeah. And I walked in with a poetry book, because I'm a knob. Into the building. She's like, "What's that?" I was like, "It's a poetry book." She's like, "Oh, you like poetry?" And then obviously that's the opener. I do like poetry, yes indeed. Like, oh dear. Now she's Romanian. English is great, but some of the words, she doesn't know some words. Like half-assed, she didn't understand. She was like, "Oh, do you have a poem that I can read?" I was like, "I'll give you this poem." I've got my phone. Showed her my favourite day. And she read it out. You know when you're standing next to someone.
She read your poem out loud.
She read it out loud in front of me. And you know when you're standing next to her and you watch them like, please do it well.
Why did she?
But then she goes like, and what is half-assed? Half-assed? I was like, Ramona, it's half-assed. It means not doing something that well.
Half-poached.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, okay. Half-assed pint, yes. Oh, it's beautiful. I was like, Ramona, have a good day.
Were you furious?
Well, no, I was grateful that I think we recovered it a little bit. But
why did she read the poem out in front of you? Maybe like, here, there's a poem, see you later, I'm off.
Well, she didn't have social media. She's quite old, you see, so she didn't read anything.
You could have texted it to her.
I even said, like, do you have YouTube now?
You could have posted it to her by letters.
Yeah, probably should have, yeah. You ever happen to you when you give someone a poem, like someone, a family member, and they're like, what's this?
Half my family have dyslexia, so they're just like, you read it.
Yeah, they just say you read it.
You were a good reader, Leon, you read it. So I was like, alright, and then the other half are just like shy. So they're like, no, I'm alright, thanks.
Yeah, fine.
Or they would, my family are like, nah, you're alright.
You're like, no.
You do the poems. You're the poem fella.
You do that.
You do that. And I'm like, grand, thanks, I appreciate that. You know.
To be fair, it's probably how everyone feels when we read out their poems. It's a risk that we take.
I hope we do it justice.
Hopefully we do a decent job.
I hope they're not sitting there going, those bastards read that out again.
And they fucked it.
They fucked it.
They
don't even know the words.
Well, we've got a glass of whiskey here. We've got a monkey shoulder on, and we do a little cheers because we are celebrating. Because as you'll see, if you follow us on the old socials, I'll have a sip as well. We have a collection coming. The Poetry's Dead Anthology Volume 1.
Volume 1.
One of
plenty.
4.
You never know.
At best. Probably.
We could do much more than that. 100 of them. 100 volumes. You're going to need a whole fucking bookcase soon for our poem books.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a wonderful full circle because when we first met up on show.
Yeah.
Am I saying that
on
right?
Show.
Yeah. Everyone fucking has
Irish for here.
Yeah, I knew that, but I always say it wrong.
On show.
On show.
On show.
On show.
There you go.
On show.
On show.
We were talking about what to do. We knew we wanted to do something. And you were like, oh, it would be great to do a collection of all of our favourite poets.
Yeah.
And now it's taken a year, but we've got it.
We've got there. We've arrived at our destination.
It took a while.
Good luck.
But it's been a year of just like, receiving amazing work and from people that we hadn't heard of. So we've just commemorated it with a collection. So on the 1st of December, it'll be available, and it's going to be like a 50-page little stocking filler for you, where you can read some of our favourite work.
But even like you think about it, had we have gone with our original idea before, because we met up to talk about, I wanted to talk about the poetry collection, and you suggested the podcast, and that's how we kind of formulated it. But had we just gone with the poetry collection, it would have just been kind of our mates and people from Dublin,
and it wouldn't have been that interesting.
Whereas now it's like people from all over
the world. Yeah,
we've gone global.
We're
like the Pitbull of poetry collections.
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna have to start selling Poetry Is Dead bookcases soon for all our anthologies. That's what I plan on.
Yeah, or just for the ones that we buy ourselves and don't sell. But listen, whatever.
A warehouse.
Whatever we can. So that'll be available on the 1st. Already getting so many lovely messages and support. I do think we are onto something, like creating a lovely space for poets to be comfortable to talk and share work and talk to each other. So like, I'm proper pleased, man. So I can't wait for people to read it. So it's available on the 1st of December.
Let us fill your stockings with poems.
Lovely. I got an interesting message the other day. We talk about sometimes we don't actually talk about working poets that often. Like people that are assigned poets of something. Remember we had like
poet laureates,
and do you remember we was it Wendy Cope who was like the poet for a hospital? We had someone we shared who was like the poet of the hospital.
Yeah.
So we got a really cool message from someone called Molly May O'Leary, who was the assigned poet, right, for Dublin Fashion Week.
Fuck off.
Dublin Fashion Week.
She must be very trendy.
Well, stylish, high. And I thought it was really cool. And she got in touch. She just wanted to share what her experience was like, and a poem, and like what it was like to be the kind of in the corner, like not. I don't know how you do it. The kind of artistic shadow of the week, where she would muse and write and give her work to designers. It was lovely. Like she was saying, gifting poems to designers. Just very, very cool. It's good to see the city actually embrace something like that, because I don't think, well, Molly will tell us, but I don't think there was ever a fashion week here.
Not even that, but like to have such a like you wouldn't associate fashion. Well, like obviously there's poems about fashion, but you wouldn't associate like a fashion week with them. Imagine like hiring a poet to like just be there and then write poems or whatever it is. Like imagine like having, I know Bowes, like
the football team. Yeah,
they had a poet in residence for Dalymount.
Oh wow!
And to my knowledge, now I could be wrong, I think it was John Cummins, which is probably one of the best poets to ever have in your repertoire at all.
Yeah.
But they had like a poet. They had like
that's amazing.
A resident poet, like, and because I remember before years ago, I was looking to do like a poem around kind of football, and one mate of mine suggested going to Dalymount, and they were like, you can't, because they have a resident poet.
They have a resident poet.
They already have a poet.
Also, you hate football.
But that was the thing. The poem. I think that's probably why they didn't like the poem. And John Cummins would be better because he's a master at football.
He loves football. Yeah, so. I've played with him a few times. Yeah. He's good. He's got the skills.
But like having a poet resident, or hiring a poet for like a cultural event,
that's deadly. Super cool. So let's hear from her. So this is Molly May O'Leary.
Hi. So my name is Molly May O'Leary, and I am the poet for Dublin Independent Fashion Week 2024. So the Fashion Week was basically set up because there wasn't an official fashion week in Ireland before this, and basically a group of leading designers in Ireland decided that Dublin should have one. So that's how the week was formed. So it's really a lovely example of kind of like ground up organising and like a community-led initiative. So I basically approached them because I love writing about fashion. Like I just find clothes and fabric and texture such an inspiring way to communicate. So I approached them with a proposal. We had various different iterations of it, but basically what we came up with in the end was to do sort of flash poems throughout the week. So I would be exposed to the designer's work through a fashion show or through their showcase, which was on the Friday and Saturday, and then I would write about it in a kind of semi-immediate way, just throughout the week. And I just wanted to talk about it because it was such a beautiful moment for fashion, but I think also for poetry, because basically it was kind of like a gift giving exercise. That's how I perceive it. Like I was kind of sharing an insight about how I perceive the work with the designers and connecting with them and then giving it to them. Like we put the poems on display, but I even gave them the physical poem at the end. And it was kind of like a way to say thank you to them for all that they give in terms of their creativity, and then give them a little slice of my creativity back. So that's what was so beautiful about it. And I think that's ultimately what creativity is. It's a type of gift giving. So I just think it was a really beautiful way to connect with the designers. The other thing I would say about it is it was a really beautiful moment for poetry, because for me, it really reminded me of the importance of poetry, because I think sometimes in our culture, you know, there's so much noise, there's so much communication, there's a lot of things floating around in the social media age, and because of this, poetry gets lost. But I actually think that's the reason poetry is so important, precisely because there's so much noise. To have like a moment and to have a ritual for honouring the moment, like nearly like a blessing, like a way of ritualising and making something seem special, important in a deep and profound way. And just taking the time with that, like, and I don't know, I just found that the designers really appreciated it, that everybody was delighted with it because it's sincere and it's profound, and it's a contrast to what can sometimes feel like a shallow, ego-driven sort of social media sphere or something. So, you know, I just found it was very, very beautiful in that way. No shade on social media, just like, you know, I think we all get tired of it sometimes, and it was just a beautiful way to connect in a more profound way. So now I'm going to read you one of the poems that I wrote. So this poem is about a designer called Sarah O'Neill. She has a brand called the Zero Waster, and she uses like sailcloth and seat belts and all sorts of reused fabric to make her amazing collections. So here's the poem. Nature speaks. I dip my hands in forage dye, to sweat, to work, to hope, to cry. This sail was once the veil between wind and sea and gushing sky. Now the craft is to feel through cloth this dormant story, this beating and crashing and sea moss and froth.
That was a poem by Molly May O'Leary. She was the poet in residence, I suppose, would she be, for the Independent Fashion Week in Dublin, which is fucking deadly.
So much to talk about what she just said.
Like poetry in real time. It was just weird having the chat there. It sounds like gonzo poetry, where she's just kind of going in, interviewing people, real world events, and then writing stuff about it like in real time. It's unreal.
And then the gifting of her imagination as poetry, and a profound feeling from what those designers are trying to convey. I thought it was just a beautiful story, and a great poem as well.
It kind of gives like how like poetry is usually quite niche, and for something so mainstream to acknowledge that this would be a great way to kind of develop it more. It's more like to fill it out a bit more, like, you know, like to add something to the week itself and have someone come in from a completely different kind of medium, you know, poetry and fashion, and then blend that together to make it even richer. Like, it's just, that whole message was amazing, and then the poem at the end is fucking brilliant.
I know. Like, and what she was talking about poetry being an important thing to stop us in our tracks and slow down and give meaning to life. And I'm with her. Like, you know, there's a lot of high level kind of materialistic stuff that you see online on social media all the time. Like, an overexposure to that is terrible for the brain. So like even just meeting you every week and knowing that we're going to talk about poetry and then reading poetry and then writing ourselves, those are the little great. I need those breaks in my week to go, right, this is the moment, this is the time. Because without that, I mean, I don't know where I'd be really.
But even like it's like having to. Poetry's great because it forces you to slow down. It forces you to, even when you're writing or even when you're reading poetry, to absorb poetry fully, you have to, like, as I said, I softly read it out myself, or like I'll try take time out to read it properly, to focus on it. But when you're writing it as well, you have to concentrate fully on it. You can't half-arse pay attention while you're writing something, otherwise it'll just look shy. So you have to really focus on it. And I think, like, adding a kind of poet to something like that, it's like they capture a snapshot in time, but with words and not with a photograph. And they can capture the emotion and the atmosphere of the week without having to use like realistic kind of. You can convey emotion, you can convey abstract kind of things, like using the kind of the sailcloth, wasn't it? And then turn it into something different, like, and then what it was and the feel, the texture. It's fucking deadly. It's so cool. Like,
I loved it, and I'm a big believer in. The poetry of clothing, like, and I think since lockdown, I'm reading Albert Camus' The Plague at the moment, right? It's an incredible read, but it's like it's intertwined. Like, it's a story of a plague in a small town. You've probably read it anyway, but then you've got the narrator talking and giving commentary. One of the things he says, because it's interesting, because it's written way before our pandemic, was the people start giving up on the things that they used to really enjoy. And it's like life becomes really formulaic and really routine, and the things that brought them joy, they stop doing, and clothes is one of them. And I do think, might be a bit big to say, but I do think we've lost a little bit of the passion for the way we show up with clothing. Like there's I mean, I get the Shein thing, I get the Penny's Hunt thing, I do understand it, but you know, there's beauty in giving yourself the respect and the artistic kind of freedom to dress in a way that kind of represents who you are in a profound way.
But even if you look at like fashion now, so say if you look at like 20 or early, like young 20-year-olds and teenagers, it's all repurposed fashion. It's all like
it's throwback.
It's throwbacks, vintage clothes, repurposed, and sustainability is kind of sexy now at the moment, which is great to see, and repurposed and stuff. And then you have the likes of fast fashion outlets, like of Penny's, doing sustainable kind of. They use sustainable cotton. They might, recycled material. They're starting to catch on. Hang on, people actually are paying attention to something like this, and it's starting to become kind of mainstream now, where they realise. Like, even say for instance, I went to Kings of Leon during the summer, right, in Marley Park.
I've seen them plenty.
They were incredible.
I love them. But I haven't actually listened to the new album though.
It's a very good album.
Is it?
As you're walking into, so we drove over, and I drove over, and my missus drove back. So we came from the car park side. Usually you come from the pedestrian way, and you come from the car park. There's a separate field before you get to the arena, and there was like a pop-up vintage sale, and all the proceeds were going to the Simon community. But it was all like, I managed to get this kind of like shell suit top, like it was fucking like proper like a 90s raver top for like 30 quid. But it was like, it was repurposed, and like there's hang on a second, young people are now starting to kind of pay attention to repurposed fashion. It's starting, stuff from the 90s is starting to catch on, stuff from the noughties is starting to catch on, and people are reusing stuff from, rather than going to Shein and buying 90s looking clothes, you can actually go to
just get the real thing,
and it's probably better quality.
It always is. I think it's interesting with the kind of the way that fashion can expand on your personality and kind of make you kind of show up in a way that like you feel like confident and self-respecting. I think it's different between men and women though, and I think there's a really interesting poem that I want you to read out actually on the show, from a writer called Christine Anne Foley. She wrote a whopper book this year that I read called Bodies. Which is it's a story of I guess what it's really like to be a woman on the receiving end of shit love and breadcrumb love throughout your whole like life cycle, then the retribution that a woman would love to have against the men that wronged her. Great read, I really recommend it. But I knew Christine's work before she published that, because I read she did a short story in a publication called Sonder Sonder magazine.
Yeah.
And then I just started seeing her poetry, and she wrote a poem a while ago that pricked my ears, and it's about the way women see others. And it's about judging, it's about gossip, and it's also about, like, you know, the fear that you might have to live the life that you want. And I'd love for you to read it, man. I've sent it you there. I don't know if you've got your phone on you, but I've sent it you. Yeah, give us it, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this, actually.
So this is Your Clothes Are Pink by Christine Foley. My story is sewn into my skin. It's tacked along the folds of flesh, and the darkest secrets are stitched into the curves and creases. My story is long and complex. It makes you uneasy. Word by word tethered at my lips, my story is happy. Scratches here and scars there. The claw of a cat, now dead. A fall in the park, a crescent moon on my knee, my story is loud. Bristling hairs, coarse and curling, growing, unapologetic and unrepentant. My story is uncomfortable. Blood-stained thighs, breasts that leak and pulse and throb. My story is sad. Lost parts, lost loves, lost children. Wetness between my legs, the dark signature of menstruation. My story is scary. You are afraid. You don't want to hear it. So, you flatten me and shave me and stuff me and clothe me. You dress me up. You drape your clothes over my shoulders, bare and raw and screaming. You zip me in, taut and tight and restricted. You clip me, hook me, scoop me, mute me. My story is not unique. My story is age-old and living, breathing, the fabric of my dreams. My story is mine, but you want to tell it. My story is unravelling, unidentifiable. My story is seeping into your clothes, a stain. My story is a bright red colour in a whitewash. Your clothes are pink.
That was the poem Your Clothes Are Pink by Christine Anne Foley. Very powerful stuff.
Fucking hell. Very, very good. Very, very good.
And even if we try to get, you know, we were talking last week about friends that are girls and like try to kind of get as much as we can from the experience of a woman, we don't fucking know. We're never going to know. It's so different. Like, you ever see comments on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram of lads who don't understand like how different the experience of life is between us? They're not the fucking same,
but they have no hesitation in explaining it.
They love telling them
because they know best. They haven't a fucking clue, but they know best.
Yeah,
as they say in their YouTube comments.
Do you see the YouTube comment that we got the other day?
I don't read comments. Don't we haven't got time.
It was a comment on the YouTube of the last episode. It was just one word that said cringe.
Maybe they were cringing because they realised how much they love poetry.
Yeah, cringe. Awful, isn't they?
Well, you know, someone who's very, very happy with themselves isn't going to go onto a poetry podcast and say that it's cringe, because poetry is cringe and you just have to embrace it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was well cringe, mate.
We love being cringe. That's why we started writing fucking poetry, pal, alright?
Yeah, we like
you're spending too much time on YouTube, pal. Read a book, possibly a poetry collection.
Yeah.
Possibly our poetry collection.
Out on the 1st of December.
Anthology, Volume 1. We'll sell you a bookcase there half price if you get a few books out of us.
Oh, man. We're talking... You sent me a quote the other day by Rumi.
Rumi, yeah.
Rumi. And it was a class quote. Well, it was about... like all of his quotes, they're inspiring and hopeful. I can't remember specifically which one this one was. Maybe you can pick it out.
I'm pulling it up now as we speak. I'm using
the
Googleizer.
The light. Okay. It was like if... Yeah, go on.
If everything around seems dark, look again. You may be the light.
are fucking brilliant.
Unreal.
But I thought, like, Rumi, I had no idea who he was until TikTok. No clue what Rumi was, if it was a he,
Yeah.
if it was like ancient Rome stuff. I had no clue. That's probably the good thing about social media. Sometimes it can bring you some gems.
Well, it's like even like philosophy is great because a lot of it's very quotable, and you can kind of put it, you can digest it in short form. Like sometimes if you spend too long with philosophy, you know, your brain starts to hurt. So if you have like bite size, you can kind of, that's really nice. I'll take that. You know, it's kind of like a poem almost. You get, if it's a short poem, a little bit of philosophy every day, bite size. But that's why, like, if you look at TikTok as well, Alan Watts is making a resurgence. You know Alan Watts? He was a philosopher in the kind of 70s, and he was an English fella, but he was a specialist in Eastern philosophies. So he used to talk. He would have talked about Rumi and stuff like that, but he did all these lectures, a series of lectures, and they were taped. And you can go onto TikTok, and if you ever, you'll get them all the time now, because your phone's listening to you. But it'll be it's like this kind of nice, like raspy English voice, and he talks about like Eastern philosophy, and there's usually kind of like lo-fi, hip, a little bit of chill music in the background, and like it'd be like a train going down a mountain pass, and there'd be like a goat in the background reading philosophy or some shit, I don't know, smoking a cigarette.
This is like the Rumi videos that I've seen.
It's like the Rumi videos, yeah, but Alan Watts is making a resurgence as well, but Rumi is like the OG Alan Watts.
Yeah, and it's like, I sometimes I think that our generation, or even generation before us, I don't know what the letters are, I have to be honest, I don't pay attention to the gens, I don't know what we are, but I feel like sometimes we think we created, like, I don't know, presentness, and just like paying attention to our lives, where people have been paying attention and trying to better their human existence for, what is the Bible? The Bible is Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
with a couple of fucking people that don't exist, but it's Atomic Habits. It's 12 Rules for Life. It's,
or the Brothers Grimm, whichever one.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking stories to tell you, think.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah. And like, I think it's great to have bite-sized philosophy, because like, I was actually having a conversation in a school yesterday with one of the teachers, and they were saying that students, especially the younger ones, are having such difficulty in spending time focusing on anything for a certain amount of time.
Not just kids, man. Jesus.
It's like TikTok and stuff like that. You know, it's killing their attention spans. So it's nice to know that you can have the likes of Rumi and Alan Watts, where you can kind of cut like a bite-sized bit of a thing and present it, and they can digest it in 15, 30 seconds. At least you're getting some poetry, you know, or at least you're getting some philosophy. If not, you know, if you can't spend 10 minutes listening to a video, at least you can spend 30 seconds and listen to something, you know, that will make you think.
Yeah. Well, Rumi was an Islamic scholar, so like born in 1207.
Yeah.
Like, and lived a good life. Died in 1273. Known for like having a deep wisdom. That's pretty much his gig. And a lot of his work was never published in English, actually, which is interesting. Really? All of it was published in like Persian. And yeah, he's got loads of one-liners. So I'll give you a few that I really like. What have we got here? As you start to walk on the way appears. Things like that. Just bangers. Just chuck them on your wall, man.
Hit me with another one. Hit me with
another one.
Slap me in the face with another one.
This is a good one, actually. Wisdom tells us we are not worthy. Love tells us that we are. My life flows between the two. You could just sit here and do this all day.
Anymore.
Is there another one? Well, I've got a longer one. I'll do a long one that I found. Actually, we heard from João Coimbra, the Leeds-based poet who'd submitted a piece of work a while ago and has a collection called Good and Empty. The poem was called Good and Empty, and he said that it was inspired by this poem, and it's called The Guest House. And I'll read this out to you, mate. So this is Rumi with The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Treat each guest honourably. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing. Invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, as each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
That was The Guest House by Rumi.
Welcome all in. Welcome them all in.
Look, I'd say if he had an Instagram these days, he'd be doing very
popping.
well. He'd be doing very well.
He's blowing up like Kim Kardashian.
Look,
Both Persian, no?
yeah, possibly. Yeah. I think, but like obviously, if it was written in Persian, with different languages, there's certain things you just can't translate properly. They don't have words for them. So I'd say that could probably be a factor as well, where it's trying to, they can't articulate the message of what's being said in one language because they just don't have a word for it, or they can't really, articulate it properly through the means of English, whatever it is. So that could be a factor. Or just like, there aren't a lot of Persian translators out there.
I said there are probably not that many.
I'm sure there will be. AI will sort that out.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because that Albert Camus book I'm reading is obviously it's translated. It wasn't written in English, so like, you're kind of going by the translator's interpretation. So it does affect like, okay, but listen, what can we do? Learn Arabic?
I heard a fun fact, right? Dubbed films.
Yeah.
So you fucking SpongeBob SquarePants, right? SpongeBob SquarePants. In German, he's actually called SpongeBob Schwammkopf, which is a German version of SpongeBob Squarehead, because Schwammkopf is easier to say than Schwammhosen. Squarehead. But
nice. That's
Schwammkopf.
Wow,
SpongeBob Schwammkopf, right?
Thank you for that.
There you go, a little tidbit for you.
Appreciate
from
it.
Deutschland. But the thing is, if say for instance they're not arsed using the subtitles are making a resurgence now. People like to say like watch like Squid Game with the subtitles, Parasite with the subtitles, or like what's it called, the Money Heist, isn't it, the Spanish one?
The Spanish one.
Pan's Labyrinth. It's great to watch with the subtitles because you get the full kind of scope rather than the dubbed. But the thing is, if you have a film that's dubbed into German, let's say, the actor who's hired for say SpongeBob SquarePants the movie will be the same actor as SpongeBob for all the series, because they want to have the same actor to do that person forever, basically.
Okay, makes
continuity,
sense.
rather than having multiple actors do it. So like, I just thought that was very interesting.
That is interesting, isn't it?
So you get one job, you can be doing that for a long time.
Like Ash from Pokemon, I guess, was just Ash from Pokemon.
Well, think about fucking
in Japan. Really.
Your man who's doing fucking Homer Simpson for bleeding Germany or something like that. He's been working for it. They're on they're like season 36.
Yeah, forever.
Imagine just, what do you do? I just talk.
I do that.
I just copy some other fella in a different language. I've been doing it for years.
Forever and ever.
Forever.
That's it's like that. How comfortable can you be doing the one thing? There's a guy, I think he's called Jim Jeffries. He's a comedian, isn't he? Jim someone.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries.
I'm not talking about him.
Jim Jones.
There's someone called Jim, right? Jim wrote and performed and composed every single wrestling entrance that you could think of that was any good.
Wait, from the
entire 90s and early 2000s, every wrestler's anthem was written by one bloke.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fucking, I'm telling you now.
That's incredible.
Mankind, Kane, Undertaker, Stone Cold, they were all written by the same bloke.
I'd say he's worth a fortune.
And it's like, there's a documentary you can watch where it's just him in his own like basement, just with a foot loop pedal and a guitar and like a drum set. He's just literally recording. It's like, Ed Sheeran in concert does those stuff. Yeah. It's like the original version of him. What's his name now?
And is he using fire and brimstone for Kane's intro? Is he?
Jim WWE. Jim Johnston. Jim Johnston is an American music composer and musician best known for his time with the professional wrestling promotion WWE. So it's like, how comfortable could you be doing the one thing over and over again? Well, fine, I guess.
Look, if they pay you fucking loads of money, then you'd be happy enough doing it,
Yeah.
You can complain on your yacht.
Listen, people think about like Rick Astley singing "Never Gonna Give You Up Forever." It's better than not.
It's better than fucking disappearing and not being heard of.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I am going to do the poem that I'm going to perform at Talkatives this weekend. So on Sunday, I've been battling it out. And actually, when you record this, when you hear this, it'll already be gone. It'll already be finished. It's on Sunday. This goes out on Monday. So I wanted to treat everyone a treat. I don't know. It's my poem. Let's see if it is a treat. With what I'm going to do on the night. So Talkatives is a poetry slam in Dublin, ran by Go Hart and Sam Yakura. Part of the We Are Griot group. Emmet O'Brien's involved as well as Felice Speaks. And they're great crack, great buzz. And I'm going to be taking part in the slam, the kind of grand slam of Talkatives. And I thought I'd just bring you the poem that I'm going to do.
I want to hear it.
You want to hear it? It was inspired by our conversation last week about female friends. Ooh. And Rachel Mulqueen's poem as well, that we shared last week. The poem is called The Friend Zone. Welcome to the Friend Zone, and my girl, you are so welcome. The cloakrooms to the left, Dan's at the back at the bar, Pinot Grigio on tap. To your right, Declan's got the kettle on and has prepared your favourite biscuits. Ready for that chin wag with a sound lad that you just need to have. You can come and go here, madame, as you please, without fear of being a tease, no. Here, the only time you'll be on your knees is the yearly yoga retreat to Sandy Cove. John Boy runs it. Lovely bloke. Here, the lads are cross between your dad and the brother that you never had. Hanging on to every word like hands on a handlebar going downhill in a storm. Here, the vibe and temperature, just warm. And as you sit, hands clasped around a mug of tea, on a giant beanbag full of love and apologies, you look around and remember this place not always being this hot a ticket. And you know what? My girl, you'd be right. The mirror at the makeup station. Your college boyfriend. Scared of opening up and anxious of losing you to a bigger lad would bully you. Tell you to quieten down and cover up. He held your femininity in his hands and clenched them until it died. That Dyson hairdryer caressing those locks. Listen closer. The voice of a former friend that knew you weren't ready and begged you to touch it. And scared, of course you did. He didn't talk to you after that and went to his mates to brag. Now you're the slag. That Carolina Herrera perfume you spray on your neck. The tears of a man you tried to leave over and over again, knowing the world you had was too small for your wide eyes. Sick of treading on eggshells in case he got pissed off, ruining another girl's night out. The lad's here. Now, we learned, we grew, we read, we started to see the world as something we could deposit to rather than steal from, trust the truth with rather than cheat, and see you for your stories and your shine and never just bones and meat. Here, this space is as open as our minds were closed. So, stick around. Stay the night. In the morning, there's a continental breakfast full of possible connections. It's light, it's healthy, there's no sausage, but it's good for the soul. So, my queen, grab a bowl.
That was The Friend Zone by Ryan Duggins.
I enjoyed writing it, and I hope you lot enjoyed listening to it.
It's a feel-good poem. It gets a bit, there are shite bags out there, but it's nice to know some people out there that have your back.
We do our best.
We try our best, yeah.
The Agony Aunt. And I think it links in nicely. We got an Agony Aunt, right? The Agony Aunt for this week. Why doesn't my crush like me back?
Well. I went down to the racquetball court, and there was a bit of speed dating going on.
Oh yeah,
by the racquetball court, because it's a fast
place
sport.
to meet lasses. Yeah,
in the bleachers. I was in the bleachers of the racquetball court, and there, chewing tobacco and reading Sports Illustrated was the Agony Aunt.
Not playing though.
No, not playing. No. She's an avid supporter, but not a good participant. She plays dirty. So I went down and I asked her, and after I handed her spit bucket for her tobacco, she returned a poem, and this is the poem that she gave me in the bleachers of the racquetball court. It's
amazing.
Called Invisible. Am I invisible? Am I see-through? I can't get them to notice me, so I'm not sure what to do. I smile when I see them, have even managed a hello, but they just nod and keep going, as if they don't know how I feel, that I'm the real deal, with such zeal, confidence, with just a dash of sex appeal. They like all my photos, and I like theirs too, but then they ghost me in real life, when they should be my boo. So I'll give it a few days, maybe some weeks. But if they keep up this facade, then their future is bleak, 'cause I'll be off into the sunset, in search of exotic lands, and they'll be sitting all alone, wishing I was their woe/man.
That was Invisible by the Agony Aunt, all to help the person who had a crush, a little crush, not like our fate every time we touch. It's just the little thing, everything I do. What a tune that was!
Absolutely.
I think that's helpful though. I think that will help the person who's suffering from a little bit of limerence.
Yeah, look, if someone catches your eye and you give them a good, you let your intentions be known, and they're playing games, fuck them.
Do you think that's true?
They're gone. See you later. Off you go. Next one.
Do you think though, man, like maybe we're all still trying to shake off the pandemic, where our imaginations were running wild and we were, painting the stories of the people of the opposite sex or the same sex, where you don't know really who they are, but you're just loving them for no reason.
Yeah, like a kind of you get, what's it called? I'm going to say betrothed, but that's not the right word I'm saying. Besotted.
Yeah, besotted with people you don't actually know, who don't know you.
Yeah. Or do you ever get like...
Hello.
Do you ever, when you commute, like if you're going to like an office or a school or whatever it is, and you go like every day to the same train station or to get the same bus, and there's people on the bus or the train that you see.
You create stories of...
And you just create stories.
You create stories.
And you're like, there's fucking Jim going to the office. Looks like he's been up all night with the kids. Don't know if he has kids. No clue. He's got black bags under his eyes. The missus must have given him a shout in there or something like that. Don't know. Then you have Trish over there. Do you know what I mean? She's out looking at her best life. She must have broken up with the fella. Don't know if she has a fella or not, but she's looking great.
You do. You do, man. You do. It's even worse online where you're like, just create stories. So this person who's got a crush man, shake it off, baby.
Like Taylor Swift, shake it off.
Shake it fucking off.
Just play that song on repeat. Do you know what I mean? Get your high heels on, or your high heel boots if you don't have any high heels. Pour yourself a fucking Chardonnay and just know you're worth it.
Yeah, you're worth it.
You're worth it.
You're off to Acrylic Beats now to do a few poems, aren't you?
A bit of shouting, a bit of winter shouting. Yeah, it's very cold out there, so luckily this whiskey's gonna keep me warm in my commute over there.
Yeah.
Might see Trish and Dave over there, you know what I mean, the lads. Make a few stories up on my way.
Yeah. The like we said at the start, the book, The Poacher's Dead anthology will be out the 1st of December. So keep your eyes peeled. It's basically all of the best, our favourite poems and poets from the year. Actually, there's no poems that we shared on the show in the book. It's just new work from our favourite people.
Yeah. 30 poets, 30 poems. It's a lot.
Enjoy it.
Fully fucking stacked.
Well priced as well, €10.
Cost effective.
Very cost effective.
This
is what we're doing.
Slide into your socks, we will. Forget the DMs. Slide into those stockings. Yeah. Fill them up.
Keep Santa busy.
With poems.
Leon, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, never a chore, my baby.
See you later.